Hi folks, Ren here. I've been thinking about a YouTube video that I watched the other day from Joe Scott, Too Much Information. It's a good channel, you should check that out. He was talking about mindsets and thinking about life and the curveballs that it throws you, particularly randomness. And it made me remember as well something I've been noticing, or something that I've learnt these last couple of years due to playing the game Solitaire. I remember Solitaire back in the day when I used to play it with real cards. You'd have a pack of cards, you'd shuffle them, you'd lay them out in that particular way on the table, and you'd spend ages playing a game. It wouldn't succeed, you'd collect them all up, shuffle them, lay them out again, play again, and it wouldn't succeed. And to be frank, I can hardly remember a time, certainly can't remember a time that I ever completed the game when I was playing it with real cards. And you kind of lose interest in it after a while, but then of course it came out on computers and eventually on mobile phones. And when it came out on the mobile phone, it was really easy to play. It was very convenient to play if you were waiting for a bus or something like that. A few games of Solitaire and so on and so forth. And I've played quite a lot. There's part of me that sort of thinks I could have had a problem, but nah, I don't really see it as a problem. It's just something to fill up a bit of time. So I've played a lot of games, and I have completed quite a lot of games, because obviously with a computer it's so much easier to play the games. You play, it doesn't work out, you click a button and it all lays out a new game for you. You can get through many games in an hour. But there's something I've learnt from that, something I've learnt about randomness from that, and that is how random things can be, because there are times when you're playing the game and it completes. I've had it where I've completed 3 games, one after the other consecutively. It's not uncommon to have time periods where I'll complete every 3 or 4 or 5 games. But correspondingly to that, it's not uncommon to have times where I won't complete a game for days. And you start thinking to yourself, well, I've been alright at this. I can usually play for 10 or 15 minutes and complete a game, and you know, I've been playing on and off, not all the time, don't have that much of a problem. But you just don't complete any games. You think, is it me? Have I become rubbish at this? I've forgotten how to do it. Am I just useless? And this will go on for a week or 2 or whatever. Maybe I'll just complete the odd game, but that's all. And then there's other times where I'm just completing game after game, and you know, 2 or 3 games complete, 2 or 3 games complete. And you think, I'm a god at this. I'm amazing at this. I must be one of the world's best solitaire players. And you sort of convince yourself that you're really good at it. And then sure enough, a week or so later, whatever, you return to a normal level, maybe every 10 or 15 or 20 games. And then other times you'll go off and not complete a game for ages. And that is what randomness is. We sort of think of randomness as that it's random and it should be evenly random. But take the toss of a coin. You toss a coin, there's a 50-50 chance it's going to land heads or tails. But there's no reason on earth why you shouldn't be able to toss a coin 10 times and have it come up heads every time. Equally likely is that it comes up tails every time. Equally likely is that it comes up head, tails, right? We presume that randomness looks random. And randomness, if you have 10,000 coin tosses, will be completely random. It should have a fairly even split. But within that you'll have clumps where you'll get a row of 10 or a row of 20 heads and a great big clump of tails with just the odd heads thrown in. And it doesn't feel random in each individual moment. If you get in a consecutive run of heads, it doesn't feel random anymore. And that applies to life. We actually live our lives in a fairly random circumstance. We we have good times and we have bad times. Now, generally speaking, you have a bit of good time, you have a bit of bad time, you have a bit of good time, you have a bit of bad time. But there will be periods in your life where a bad thing follows a bad thing follows a bad thing follows a bad thing, and it can leave you feeling devastated and broken. And again, correspondingly, you'll have times where you'll have a good thing and followed by a good thing and another good thing, and it'll feel you elated and as though you're unbreakable. And then life will eventually return to its normal balance somehow, just like the coin tosses and just like playing solitaire. So the point that I'm making is if you're in the thick of that collection of bad times, you're going to have to weather it and just hope that the balance of luck and everything will return back to its normal level for you at some point. And of course, if you're riding the crest of a wave of a collection of good events and good happenings, bear in mind that at some point that too will end and you will return back to an overall balance of good and bad times. I never ever thought that solitaire would make me think philosophical, but there's another thing that solitaire has taught me as well. Solitaire is known as a game of patience, and it has taught me patience. It's taught me to be patient and be accepting of the fact that sometimes I will complete a game quite quickly, and other times I won't have time in the day to complete at all, and I'd need to stop and get on and do other things and have a life. And that's been very useful to me. It's been very informative to me. It's taught me the fact that not everything will come to me straight away. Sometimes I have to wait for things. And it's also taught me that things that I expect to wait for may come to me sooner than I expected. I never ever thought solitaire would be a source of philosophy. But I found it very useful and quite enlightening for me. Anyway, just a thought. Thank you.